It's Aloha Friday. Oh my goodness. You are here with Aloha Friday on the Sandwich Island Social Network. My name is Kamaka Brown, and it is such a pleasure to be here with you again on our Aloha Friday show. We have as our guest, we're so pleased to have him join us. He is a Grammy Award winner, Hawaiian Music Award winner, singer, songwriter, producer, ukulele designer, cultural ambassador, and a local boy on top of that. How is that? Please welcome to our Aloha Friday show with the Sandwich Island Social Network, Mr. Daniel Ho. Aloha, Daniel!
Good morning, Kamaka. How are you? Thanks for having me on your show.
I am doing well. Mahalo nui loa for accepting our invitation to join us right here on the Aloha Friday show. And my goodness, it's been a while since you and I have seen each other.
Yes.
I think
the last time was the NAM show out in the lobby.
I believe I believe so, right, Daniel? We did a little chat out in the lobby, and we saw so many of our great friends at the NAM. We kind of missed it this year, right? We missed seeing our musical cohorts there at the NAM. That's kind of like a gathering of all of our friends, and
Yeah, we're usually I'm usually at the Romero Creations booth or at Yamaha
yeah.
for NAM and running around from one thing to another, working with ohana ukuleles and meeting people, and it's really exciting, and it seems like there's really something missing in January.
I should
When you
say.
don't do that.
I should say.
Yeah.
And I always look forward to seeing you and Lydia, your wife Lydia. You guys are a power
Yeah, she's
couple.
right here.
Oh, she's keeping an eye on you. Okay. Hi, Lydia. um,
Yeah.
and I know that Daniel, I went and looked up into some ancient documents. Daniel, it goes way back, and these are called the Menehune documents. It goes way, and I had to dig through this big cave and everything. And I found an old, I found
Up in
this
the
old,
valley, yeah.
I found this old Menehune saying that said, "A rolling pohaku gathers no limu." A rolling pohaku gathers no limu. So I took that and I put it into the Hawaiian dictionary, looked at it, and there was, when I looked it up, there was a picture of you, my friend.
Oh,
Because you haven't stopped. You have not stopped. Even though the pandemic brought most of the world to a screeching halt or really slowed everything down, for artists
yeah.
like yourself that have always been so busy touring, producing, creating. For many artists, it was a real challenging time. How did that affect you 2020 after we came out of NAM and all of a sudden in March, boom, everything shut down?
Wow, that's a great question. So we went to NAM, and we saw you, did an interview, hung out, did our usual NAM thing that we've done year after year, and it's always an exciting way to launch a new year, the NAM show. And the week before that, it's been kind of a tradition. I play with the Makaha Sons at Whittier, Ruth B. Shannon Center, the week before, and then Uncle Jerome and Auntie Londa come down to NAM. They stay for a week, and they with family or us, and then we do NAM. And it's just kind of the way that we launch every year for a number of years now. And this year, right after that, we did the I'm a cultural ambassador for the State Department, so we went to Brunei.
Oh my!
And yeah, I went to Brunei to do performances for the embassy, and then Thailand after that. And what was interesting was when we were leaving, we started to hear about the COVID situation. It wasn't a pandemic; it was just a few cases, in China at the time. 300 turned to 3,000. And the tour was about 3 weeks. We went to Brunei first and then Thailand, and all the countries were open, the borders were open. They were still having Chinese tourists in Phuket because, the economy and everything, right? It just kind of like, oh, well, we don't know what this is yet. And So it was still open, and we were trying to be careful. And by the time we were ready to leave, they were closing countries. Like the Philippines closed to foreign visitors, and we rerouted our return flight. In addition to the COVID situation, Hong Kong was having a lot of protests and
Oh, yeah.
uh, yeah, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
came through Hong Kong on the way out there because the I guess the flight was cheaper and they booked us on that. But on the way back, we rerouted through Japan. We kind of just went with the flow. We had a State Department person with us, so they could actually help us through the airports if we had any issues in foreign countries, because the embassies and stuff like that. So we got back okay, and just I don't know, it was probably a few weeks later, everything shut down,
Yeah.
and then we have the lockdown or safer at home, at the time it was called, and then we stayed home since March.
Yeah.
And
So you
so
were,
it was an exciting time and a great way to kind of begin the pandemic. And to answer your question, it was surreal, right? Because unprecedented, like we don't know like what to do. And so all the little by little, all the gigs got canceled, all the shows, everything. I was scheduled to go back to Taiwan to do another record on Orchid Island with the Aboriginals and do shows out there. And every show and every recording project got canceled. And I think what I felt was just disbelief and just surreal. It was okay, we're at home, and I thought for months what to do, and I thought, okay, I'm here at home. Let me just start recording a record, because a large part of my year is spent at home anyway. I work at home and I record albums, so I figured, okay, I'm gonna buy. So I did Playing Through Changes, and Playing Through Changes is that jazz term we use when you just play the chords. Okay, you guys, let's just play through the changes. So let's rehearse the chords, the tempo, the feel, no melody, no singer, no lead, anything. Just play through the changes. And what I meant by that is how it relates to us just going with the flow and playing through these changes. And did a lot of yard work. I dug terraces on the hillside. My in-laws' house, they have a big hillside. I dug a 60-foot terrace all the way across, and two of them with a little stick this big. And it's sort of like meditating and
yeah,
getting outside and just thinking, like, there's an amount of frustration too with what's going on in the politics and the situation
yeah.
there. And pick is good for that, and dirt is also good for that.
So you not only
And
had calluses on your fingertips, but you also had some elsewhere with using them tools. So you're working on them
yeah,
calluses there.
yeah, here, right? You get blisters in here. And so I learned how to grip it and use the weight of it and not grab it too hard to minimize the
Yeah.
calluses. But I spent a lot of time trying to figure out going forward and problem solve. So what will live music be going forward? What will the industry do in the future? What direction will it take? Because I didn't see how a venue reopens, selling every third seat, airfares, hotels going way up because of the cost of sanitizing planes and hotel rooms and the additional precautions and equipment that needs to be purchased, plexiglass shields, and on and on. Like, how does this all,
Yeah.
shake out in the end, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't see how we would return to the same normalcy, right?
But I can
So
see, as you said, you were intent on just playing through the changes. That has multiple meanings here, not just from a musician's point of view, but really from our viewpoint of life and our perspective. Let's just play through the changes,
yeah, I mean, we
right.
have to, because there's majority of things in life we don't control.
Hmm.
So it's what we do with them. And
Nice.
so the other interesting thing for me was mentally, um, sometimes you get so busy, like you have so many gigs or so many projects lined up, all you have to do is, you don't have to think about, oh my gosh, what should I do today? Just look at what's due next.
Yeah.
This is due on Friday. That's what you have to do today. You know, it's due today, so do it. You know, and then so what I was doing was, I was on kind of like a treadmill. I mean, not complaining at all. It was a nice thing to do, but I was kind of being told what to do by, dictated by my schedule. And so years go by, right? And I'm kind of doing the same thing. And what the pandemic did, stop me in my tracks. You stay at home and you think, what do you really want to do? What do you want to do? What direction do you want to take? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to accomplish? And it allowed me to stop without having to make an excuse or turn down work, because I had no work. So I just sat back and I thought for months, for literally, you know, and I thought, what do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Record a record? Should I? But I knew that, you know, keeping active is really important. So I did playing through changes, finished the record, took me about 4 or 5 months, and then I recorded 5 songs in a solo ukulele album, because I was gonna just continue doing music. So I have a half of ukulele, almost a half an ukulele album ready, you know, and in the meantime, I was asking everyone around me, Danny Joy and all my friends, you know, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? How are you what are you doing? And in the case of Perry and Danny Joy, who you also interviewed at NAM,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah.
They started a store. She's a 3rd generation music store owner. She sells Ohana and Romero Creations ukuleles, and she started a music school, the Danny Joy Academy, and she
Okay.
has subscriptions and students and classes. And so her thing was, she created a business that she can do from home, weekly, daily, you know, teaching private teaching classes. And she said she's doing better than ever. Like,
Nice.
her business, because of the situation, you know, became more successful than it was when she was, you know, going to a place, a location, and teaching
Yeah,
in person and
yeah,
doing that.
yeah,
So for some, it, you know, it worked out,
yeah,
you know, really
yeah,
well.
yeah.
But
You know,
people,
Daniel, we have um, a bunch of our friends that are watching, and we encourage you to go ahead and make comments. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, we'd love for you to drop in and say hello. Um, Here's someone that you know, Yolanda Coco, coming from. She's saying,
Auntie Landa, we're just talking about you. And you know, Auntie Landa, the awesome thing about Uncle Jerome and Auntie Landa, I mean, they're just family, yeah. But you know, when we go to Nam, like, she is an amazing cook, yeah.
"Ooh,
So she makes sandwiches in the morning, and we just always look forward to that time when we can just stop for a second, or we take turns, you know, because you
yeah."
can't just everybody, you know, take a break. And we go outside and just eat her wonderful sandwiches. And
There she goes. I just tuned in. Well, welcome, Yolanda, and to Jerome. They're also dear friends of mine for many years.
yeah,
And that's the last time I saw you folks, too, Yolanda. And Jerome was at NAM in January in Anaheim. Miss you guys. And thanks for jumping in here and sharing a little aloha here this morning. And there's a Daniel and I just hanging out, and we are just having a little conversation about what happens last year. And you have it was a conscious choice on your part just to remain active and to look for creative ways to use your time. And out of that came. Let me see. Let me just bring up a couple things over here that might be of interest over here. And it was this here. Tell us about this, Daniel.
well, the East West Players is the oldest and largest Asian American theater in the country. And I've known about them forever. And my friend Dan Maeda's on the board, and Kiyomi. And they invited me to do a show at their theater. And the show was in November of 2020. So the theater had been dark since March. The set that you see there on the cover, it's a set of the Assassins. And they were getting ready to present that show right when the pandemic hit, so they didn't get to show it, but the set remained on stage. So
Oh,
we had that cool structure built where people go in all those boxes of um, and we put together a show with me, Randy, my wife Lydia on bass, and Kumu Kelly Isabalos and Kanani Toji, who's just a wonderful vocalist and dancer. She's been studying with Kelly E since she was 5,
wow.
so masterful. And we did a live concert and they filmed it because because everything has to be virtual, so we filmed it. All we had in the theater was the crew, the sound person, the camera people, the directors, and stage crew and everything. And it was a great experience to, for the first time, get together and play and sing and dance together.
Uh-huh.
And it turned out really well. The audio engineer Gahe multi-tracked it, recorded. That means that you record every instrument on a separate track. So my ukulele is on a track, the voice is on a track,
Oh, okay.
every drum is on a different track. So she multi-track recorded. I thought it was just going to be a stereo recording and a quick thing, but they did a really professional job and had 4 cameras and filmed it. And when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds really good, and it allows me to mix it, right?
Yeah.
To treat it like a record. So we got done with it and said, hey, this is really good. We should release a live album. So this actually is my very first live album I've ever done. It's a video as well that they're showing at
Sweet.
eastwestplayers.org.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And there's Kumu Kelly Isabalos, and Randy Drake, yeah, for your drummer.
Yeah. So Randy Drake has been playing percussion with me since the Kilauea days back in 1993 or
Wow.
90 started. So he does every recording and every single show. And Kumu was actually in Brunei and Thailand with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
my.
was singing and dancing and spreading Hawaiian culture and teaching hula and teaching about the history and language. And we would do shows at music schools, at universities, and even just elementary schools and things like that. And no matter who he was working with, he just lit the room up with his presence. And it's like, when he's on stage, it's like 10 people. And he would just have the whole room captivated and everybody doing these motions and chanting. And yeah, he's powerful.
What a great.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah. He definitely is an amazing teacher, a dancer. I saw him on a clip. Was it salsa he was doing? He was on merengue, and it was. I said, hang on a second. Is that Kumu? Yes, he's doing the merengue. It was just beautiful.
Well, he's a professional ballroom dancer. Like he's a world champion. And the other thing about it too is he's a percussionist, like drumline percussionist.
Oh, wow.
So his sense of rhythm is so refined. There's nothing you can do that he can't understand and dance to. So he does the first thing we did with Amy Ku'ulealoha Stillman were these records with Kulia Ika Punavai, which is the Southern California Kumu Hula Association, and we had all the different halau come over. 26 different halau came over to my house and recorded these 3 albums, Lili Kalani, Kalakaua, and I forgot. Kapi Olani, yeah. And Amy curated the albums, put all the material together, all the chants, right? And Kumu Keali'i came in and he does it with his halau, 1 take, and he leaves. That's what he does, right? And so he said to me and Amy one day, this is like 2008 or ish, or somewhere in the 2000s, and this is the origin of how everything happened with Kumu Keali'i. And he said, is there anything you want differently in this chant? So he was playing boom 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 ka doom 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 ka, at the ipu heke, right? The typical. And I said, well, can you take out the last 8th note? and just make it like 7/8, you know? And he looked at me like, "What?" And now Amy Stillman is a, she went to University of Hawaii, she studied Hawaiian culture and then got her master's there. I think she got her PhD from Harvard. And she's rooted in the tradition, right? She turns and she looks at me because she's really open-minded as well, like forward thinking. And she said, "Ooh, that sounds interesting. How does that sound?" So I went, doom, 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 ka doom, 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 ka doom, doom, in 7. And Amy was like, "Well, that's kind of cool." And then we just kind of laughed, right? That evening, when we were done recording, Amy and I went to Starbucks and she got on Microsoft Word. She made a graph and it had 7 columns and it had all these rows. And she wrote Papaha no Moku,
Wow.
Kahiko chant in 7/8. And then we recorded it on the album Ikena, with Tia, and that one was the one won the Grammy. And then we wanted to perform it, so I asked Kumu Keali'i, like, "Can you choreograph this song?" And I didn't think it was possible. I said, "You're the inspiration behind this chant. Can you do it?" He choreographed it. He got 20-something of his dancers, his top dancers, to dance it. And he chanted and played the ipuheke and chanted in 7. And, it was at a show. I think it was like Go for Broke or, I think we performed it. And it's like, I don't even understand. How do you get all these people to dance in 7? And then that was the beginning. And then we did, from there we did a musical together, Pineapple Mango, the musical. And we have a Bulerias chant where the ipuheke is playing in a slow syncopated Bulerias. Doom, ga, doom, ga, ga, doom, ga, doom. And it's just this really syncopated. And for him, it's like nothing. Because he does that. He does flamenco, ballroom, Latin, everything.
Yeah.
And so we have so much fun together, and he can create in any genre, and he can create a hula-centric choreography and add a little bit of his salsa, and
amazing.
It's beautiful to watch him work.
Yeah. Here's our good friend Nani Edgar, all the way from Oahu.
Nani!
Aloha, Uncle Kamaka and Daniel.
Oh my gosh, Nani. It's been years. She's loving Hawaii.
I know. She
and Life with Danny, huh?
She and Danny have a regular music show.
I know. She left me.
Nani, why don't you, Nani, please
one Danny for another. You know what that's called? Kamaka, that's called trading up.
Oh, ooh. So Nani, why don't you
this guy's music, I've played all his songs, I know it already. I'm gonna do something better. But that's good. I'm happy.
Nani, would you please go ahead and post when our friends can tune in to you and Danny, because I know you have a regular show online, and so forgive me, I'm not familiar with your schedule. Please post it, because we like to tell our friends about how they can tune in to listen to you and Danny play as well, which is beautiful. Stan Tashiro, who is another ukulele player. Aloha, Stan. Nice to have you join us. Yeah. Let's see. Who else has joined us? Nani says, "Oh my God, I did not trade up."
Oh, wow. You're so polite.
Ooh.
No, you know what? Nani and I, she and her mom, Kuma Sylvia, played so many years together. All the shows, she would come always with her game on, knew every lyric, just wonderful working with her. We even did the National Folk Festival in Canberra, Australia.
Wow.
It was amazing. Just the two of us, went down there and played, and it was a great time. I think that was, one of our last gigs I think we did.
Nani says, "It was a pleasure singing with you, Daniel." So we have a good friend of ours that tunes in every week, and I want to share with you what she was saying here. Her name is Thyra Abraham. She says, "Aloha, Daniel. This is the first time I'm watching and listening to you. Thank you, Kamaka, for having this show for local folks to catch up with new artists and old artists since we are so far away from home. I love your music, and I'm happy I tuned in today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Daniel lives here in LA and is has been a longtime resident here, and he tours and is on the road quite a bit and always producing new music. And let's see, someone else also joined us over here. It's Auntie Hetty. Auntie Hetty says, Justin, aloha, Kamaka, and Daniel. Auntie
Good
Hetty has
morning or
senior.
afternoon.
Yeah, Auntie Hetty is a senior citizen out there in Cerritos, California. She has seniors hula group and ukulele group. She's really active with the senior citizens out there in the
Awesome.
OC. So she's always with us. Let me see. Auntie Hetty says, I've always been so impressed with Daniel Ho and his productions, especially at the Japanese Center. So she's familiar with your work over there, Daniel.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for coming out and for supporting the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I don't know
let's,
when we'll be performing again. Oh boy.
yeah.
But
Nani,
online is good. Yeah.
Nani says it's one of my favorite moments touring, going with you. And look at the hearts. Look, you got so sweet, so sweet. Earlier we were playing the breakfast song, Pineapple Mango. And for
Mhm.
those of you that may not be familiar with this tune, how dare you? But but Pineapple Mango is a wonderful tune that has really took the ukulele world by storm. We had thousands of people playing this all in unison in Little Tokyo several years ago. The song goes like this.
Pineapple mango. Pineapple mango.
So Daniel, this song is so well known. In fact, we posted a video of a collaboration of a number. Is this Pineapple Mango around the world?
Yes,
What's
yes,
that?
yeah.
That
And just recently, a group in Korea did one
oh,
like that. They had props, and it was really fun. Yeah, I just
okay.
saw that.
So Pineapple Mango is like an earworm. I was earlier. I was saying to Lydia, to both of you, the song just stays in your mind, and I kind of wondered, it is said, and maybe this is part of the apocrypha of history, but Sammy Davis Jr. was known for back in the '60s and '70s for his song, "The Candyman." Who can make the da 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 da, and he really didn't like the song. He really was not his favorite song. It's also said, and I'm not sure if some folks who knew Uncle Don Ho, um, the song Tiny Bubbles was really not his favorite per se. He'd love to do other songs because it had been sung so much. And I kind of wondered now, Pineapple Mango, you've heard it so often. Are you at a point now where you just go, Pineapple Mango, I don't want to play it, I don't want to hear it again? Or what about that song?
Oh, oh no! Actually, I'm honored and grateful. I'm grateful when people like it enough to want to play it or film them a video playing it and post it on YouTube or stuff like that. It's interesting. I mean, fun and just rewarding to me to see all the different versions of it. One of the neatest ones were Abe Lagrimas and we were in Shanghai doing the music convention. It's basically the NAMM show in China, Shanghai. It's larger than the NAMM show, and someone was dressed up in like a duck outfit or something like that, or some colorful, the kind of thing you see at Disneyland or whatever, and playing an ukulele and playing Pineapple Mango. So Abe Lagrimas filmed it on his iPhone and sent it to me, and it's like here we, halfway around the world in China, somebody dressed up, probably doesn't speak, it was playing Pineapple Mango. I thought that is so cool. So no, actually, I never get tired of it. And I think I'm not sure, but did Don Ho did he write Tiny Bubbles,
I don't think
or or
I don't think so. I don't
or
think
did Sammy Davis Jr. write Candyman?
yeah, those he wasn't really known for writing songs and stuff. Possibly not. Possibly
Oh,
not.
I see. Yeah, I think it's different when it's your own child.
Ah,
Like these songs, it's kind of like a part of you, and it's yeah, like sharing a part of yourself. So no, I actually enjoy, like
yeah.
strumming chords and just singing and having fun with it.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's from a whole different perspective. These are one of your keikis, and and you kind of like to see how it's kind of just taken off.
Yeah, I
Uh,
I think so. I went to a James Taylor concert at the Hollywood Bowl a couple years ago, and he plays the same songs he's played for decades,
mhm,
but you still have the feeling. If he sings Fire and Rain or Mill Worker, like he still tells a story. It's him
mhm,
just
mhm.
sharing a part of himself, and
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Look who just popped in over here. Good morning, Daniel and Kamaka. Sounding looking great, Daniel. I didn't forget about the video, Uncle Jerome.
Oh, thank you, Uncle. Well, Uncle is doing a a music video of one of the songs from our album together. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, it's called the Makaha Sons Jerome Coco, and it's all
nice.
original music. Amy Ku'uleha Stillman and I wrote. It's a beautiful album, and he's filming a video in Makaha
Oh,
with
sweet.
drones and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be quite grand.
Oh, that's sweet.
But
That's
take your time,
sweet.
Uncle. Yeah, we'll.
Aloha,
We'll
aloha,
work together.
Jerome. So good to have you pop in over here,
I
man. We
was
haven't.
wondering about that though. Speaking of video, Kamaka,
Yeah.
um, we talked about early in this conversation where I was just uh, just kind of thinking and meditating on what to do next and what direction to take, not knowing how the music industry will be as we come out of this pandemic. And I realized that I think creating videos was something that I really wanted to do, being creative, like with music, recording, but recording visuals. So I worked with a childhood friend of mine, David Ho. David Ho is he lives here in LA, and like myself, he went to St. Patrick's and St. Louis High School in Kaimuki. He lived in Palolo. I lived on Third Avenue. Our parents were family friends. We had a band together called Third Avenue because I lived on Third Avenue, behind St. Louis Drive-In. And he was 5 years older than me. He still is. But the kind of guy that everybody looked up to, because when we were growing up, everyone idolized Ota-san in elementary school, and David could play Ota-san songs like Body Surfing or Song for Anna exactly note for note. It sounded like Ota-san. Then we went into high school. Earth, Wind, and Fire's popular. George Benson had this Breezing album. Remember Breezing?
Yes.
David transcribed that by ear, could play This Masquerade, Breezing, Affirmation, everything, note for note, like, and he had a George Benson Ibanez guitar. The kind of guy that everybody in the whole high school knew about.
Hmm.
He had a band like Earth, Wind, and Fire. So he'd play like fantasy and all this stuff with his group. So of course, he was kind of like a mentor to me that I looked up to in high school. He graduated from high school, started working at Serena's in Waikiki, and then I graduated high school, and my dad sent us to music school together. So we went to the Grove School of Music in 1986. And he studied audio engineering, and I studied composing and arranging and film scoring. And so we moved together, and we had our hopes, to make it in Los Angeles in the music industry. And David became an audio engineer, had his own studio, kind of got tired of it, and he got into video
Ah,
uh, production, post production. So he has a company called Audio Post and Picture that does production for post production for movies and commercials and things like that for
nice.
probably 25 years now. And last year, 2020, around August, I did a video with Yamaha pianos, a song called Ocean Dance, toccata for piano and 5 cellos. And it was something I wrote in when I went to the University of Hawaii for 6 months. It was a composition assignment, but I was 23 years old, and it was way too hard for me to play. But it took me decades, but I learned how to play this song. And David filmed it, and with this wonderful cellist, Dana Shui. And I was so intrigued by what he was doing with his cameras and lighting and gimbals and this and that. And I said, you know what? This is the future. This is what we need to do, is we need to create quality content for video. Something that people can see online, can see hear your music and see a visual interpretation of it, like a mini movie, you know, tell a little story and see your instruments and all that. So from that day forward, I started making videos and learning about it from David.
Wow. Here's a little bit of Ocean Dance. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you. So this piece is on Playing Through Changes, the album, and I'm always trying to find an interesting way to approach the familiar. So a piano, you know, you always hear scales, you always hear triads. This song is based on fifths, intervals of the fifth, and so all those runs you hear, there's no scales, there's no notes that are next to each other, da 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 da. So they're all fifths, and they jump around the piano in quite unusual ways.
Well, you know what? We would expect nothing less than that from you, Daniel, because you're always jumping in different genre of music, and you're going to go down in history, Daniel, as an artist that we really could not define in one particular genre, which is amazing. You know, you with ukulele, kiho'alo, slack key, jazz. You've went into all the different ethnic music of Asia and Taiwan and all of that. You know, now music video to kind of express the messages through music, now to visuals. And that's a beautiful thing. You even teamed up with Tak, is it Matsumoto? Tak?
Yes,
right?
Tak Matsumoto.
And that in itself, now Tak, and many of us do not know this, but he is like monster in Japan. He is like one of the top rock groups. What is it, the Bees?
Yeah. Bees,
in Japan.
Oh, 90 million records.
Hello. Here's a
Would you please welcome Tak Matsumoto and Daniel Ho.
I mean, how amazing is that? I was looking at the video. Were you on a koto as well? Were you playing the koto and doing that show?
Yes, I did. One of the songs I did with Tak for the album Electric Island Acoustic C was had a koto introduction. Jun Kuromoro, you know, Hiroshima.
Yeah.
The famous contemporary jazz, smooth jazz group. She's a good friend of mine, and she played on the album.
Oh
you know, I asked her to play on the album. And then when we performed it live here at the Japan America Theater and also at the Grammy Museum, she wasn't able to make it because she has a pretty full schedule. And so she said, I was over at her house and she said, you know what? let me just show you how to play it, and you can take my koto. So June is like the most generous person you'd ever imagine. Like that would be like me saying, "Hey, Kamaka, here, just take my ukulele and go play it and bring it back later." And this is how you set it up, you know, because you gotta put the a koto, you gotta put the bridges on the koto, you know, because it's strings and then you gotta set it up a
Yeah.
certain way. And
Oh my God.
it's not like an ukulele, you take out a case and play it. So she gave me her koto, and I played koto in the show because the introduction to Adrenaline Up, one of the songs, ding 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 ding. She showed me how to do the vibrato, how to tune it, and yeah, it was a lot of, I played taiko in the show too. I bought a taiko from Zendeco, the taiko booster that I worked with, and did the. So it was a fusion of it's called Electric Island Acoustic C. Tak is the electric guitar melodies and the focal point of the album, and I'm the acoustic C. I'm the acoustic sounds around him, and we wanted to use the island influences of Hawaii and Japan. So the koto, I played an ukulele sanshin, which is an ukulele with a sanshin body and neck made in Okinawa. It's just a hybrid instrument that was made for me, and you know, use the ipuheke, the ukulele, and Hawaiian slap key guitar, and we put all these instruments together and created an album. And Tak is a rock star in a truest sense of the word. He does stadiums, you know, 50, 70,000 people in a show. And Lydia actually got to go to a show. I got to see it, you know, set up, you know, we went before, and it's just amazing. And he has a wonderful crew of people, and he's just a normal, shy, humble person. You would never know that's what he did for a living, but he's just a wonderful person to work with, and a great musician. And we did a tour, 26 shows around Japan, Hawaii, and ended at the Japan America Theater here. He sold every one of them out.
Here's
and
a friend.
Followed him.
Here's a friend that lives in Arizona. This Haley. She says it's like your voice reminds her of that mellow voice of like Audie Kimura of Lovers and Friends. Used to go over to High Steakhouse to listen to Audie Kimura.
Well, that's funny, Haley. I played with Audie Kimura at High Steakhouse. I that was my job. I was in Hawaii after I went to Dick Grove's in 86, 87. My dad had a stroke. I dropped out of school, and I moved back to Hawaii to take care of him. And I went to UH for about 6 months. And during that time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, I played at High Steakhouse for Audie. I played keyboards for him. Yeah, the two of us, just the two of us.
Wow.
So is he still there? Do you know if he's still at Highs?
I'm not sure. Yeah. Thyra says the music we just heard, it sounds like it should be the background for music for a Hallmark movie, you know, with that with the cello and with the piano. She says, yeah. So yeah, we have folks and Auntie Hetty says, Daniel, you so talented.
Oh, thank you, Auntie Hetty. But you know what's interesting too is what I learned early on in the industry. So the first 5 years from 1990 to 95, I was on a record label with my band Kilauea, which is a contemporary jazz band. And so that's a style of music. If you're in LA, you know, 94.7 or KIFM in San Diego or KKSF in San Francisco. And a style of music is defined by, you know, the genre, the set of restrictions, and the kinds of chords you use, instrumental, and these types of rhythms. And you can't, if you're doing it for a business, you can't really venture outside of that and do a rock album, because that's an entirely different set of radio stations, relationships, a different kind of record label, and a different radio promoters and everything. So businesses usually keep artists in a genre. If you do rock, you're a rock artist and you stay a rock artist for your whole career. After 5 years of making albums in contemporary jazz, I kind of felt that I was being a little redundant or just paraphrasing songs I've already written. And so I in 1996, I decided to start my own label. And what that afforded me was the freedom to take any direction I wanted to. So immediately I started doing slack key guitar because I grew up playing. I studied classical guitar when I was 9, when I was a kid for about 5 years. And I love guitar and it's easy to play and travel. And so I started playing guitar, and then I was in Japan doing some shows and they said, hey, you got to play ukulele. So a record company there asked me to do a ukulele album, and I did an album called Pineapple Mango in 1999. So it quickly evolved into these different genres and styles of music. And then I was in Japan again, and someone said, you know, you play only instrumental music. You'd have a lot more value if you sang. It's like, oh, I can't sing, you know. But okay, I go home, you know, record at home and just holler into a microphone until it sounds about right. And then I started singing around 2001, 2002, 2003 with Simple as a Sunrise. It was my first full vocal album. And then I started singing, and then, you know, world music and rock, and then playing a classical record with Pepe Romero. But you really cannot go from, for instance, you know, the Tak Matsumoto record. Before that, I did a Mongolian album in Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar in Inner Mongolia, with Mongolian musicians, and a traditional album like that, and then go to rock, and then Pepe Romero, a classical album within a 3-year span. It is horrible business. You cannot make any money jumping around from world music to rock to classical and doing all this stuff because you don't really have an identity. You have no way to market something. Someone comes to a show, like, what are you going to see? Classical? Or are you going to see Mongolian throat singing? Like, what are you going to see? What, you know, are you going to play ukulele, or are you going to just do piano concert? Or so anyway, it has no value in commercial music, what I do, but I'm so passionate about learning and doing different things that I just figure I'm going to do music that's really true to my heart and I'm very sincere about and I really believe in, and hopefully that'll carry me. So, you know, you don't make a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. It's better to just stick with one thing and have an identity, you know, because then you can build on it. Otherwise, you're just doing lateral.
Sure, sure. And you mentioned your relationship with Pepe Romero. Let's talk about that, and we've got a couple things I wanted to share right here. Tell us what we're looking at here, Daniel.
That is a spalted mango tiny tenor ukulele. So it's kind of every spalted mango instrument is completely unique because the patterns of the way it spalting is kind of like sort of like rotting, but it makes these beautiful patterns, in the luthiers book match them so they're symmetrical. And this is a tiny tenor, an instrument I designed, an ukulele I designed with Pepe Romero Jr. And the concept of it, it's based on a lute, a traditional instrument, and Pepe did like a modern shape, but it's basically a full tenor ukulele that fits in a concert gig bag. And, you know, I try to do things unique musically, but I also had this opportunity with Pepe to do something unique with the sound, to be able to shape a sound and design instruments that have a unique sound and a beautiful sound, a balanced tone. And so Pepe and I have been working together for 9 years, and there are 5 tiny tenor model instruments and 6-string guitar, miniature size ones, 6-string tenors, and it's really been changed my life as an artist because it gave me, you know, kind of a unique voice. And just this month, for Asian Pacific Islander Month, the Grammy Museum is putting that very instrument into the Grammy Museum for they're reopening on May 21st. So excited. Next week we're gonna go down there, and Pepe and I are gonna drop it off for them.
Oh my!
Thursday
That's
and film
exciting.
it, you know?
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I was so excited that they were doing that, because I mean, this instrument really, it's my identity now.
Yeah.
To the sound and the look, and so Pepe and I, we talk about 3-4 times a week, and always sharing ideas and trying to come up with just like, you know, it's like writing a song with wood.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yolanda says, talking about how, you know, and this is Uncle Jerome also saying, when you're saying, you know, it's hard to peg hold you with exactly what it is you do, and you're kind of sharing. And he says, that's why you're the best, Uncle Jerome.
Oh,
Right?
thank you, Uncle.
Oh,
I
man.
love you. But Uncle, you know, Uncle Jerome and I, we just hanging out with Auntie Landa, like Lydia and I, we just get in a car, you know, go play in Palm Springs or go do Whittier or do Nam. Like we just love hanging out together. They're just so sincere people. They're wonderful to be around.
Yeah.
And their kids are awesome. Just awesome.
And Teheri says, but if you love what you do and share it, it shows when you're on stage. So keep on, because when you get old, you'll have no regrets.
Well, Auntie Hetty, I am old. and that's actually part of my motivation. I'm not 23 years old anymore. But having the pandemic and time to think about what is it that you really want to do before that other day comes. Like, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to say and do? And we just want to put good things out in the world and do good things and share art and just make the world a little better place in the small way that we can. And
yeah. Auntie Eddie says, you're not as old as me, Auntie. So no worries, she's going.
You know what? The other thing I thought about too, this is interesting, but with COVID, I could be done in 6 days, right? And when it happened, like that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking, even, okay, it permanently can damage your lungs.
Yeah.
Right? So 2 of the songs on Playing Through Changes, I recorded them, So Long As and Will You Be There. I recorded them because I wasn't sure that I would be able to sing again. So I might as well record the vocal tracks, put it down, get it in the computer, and it's there, and then finish the music and put it out there, because those songs I have been holding on to for years. Wow. So Will You Be There was first recorded in 2000, right? So it's not 2020.
Yeah.
And it's a song that was always close to my heart, very important to me. So Long As was recorded in 20, and someone else sang it, and So Long As was a year or 2 after that. And I've always practiced it in the shower for years and years and years and years. And I thought, my voice is not good enough to sing this song. But I'm not a singer. I'm just like a singer-songwriter. And then I just practiced for years and years and years. And then the pandemic came about, and then they said, oh, you can still have like 25-30% permanent lung damage even after you recover from it. So even if I survive, I may not even be able to sing again. I might be an instrumentalist all over again. So I'm going to record this now. And so that actually was the true motivation for making the record, and just, okay, this is the rest of my music that I have at this moment. And I'm going to just...
Auntie Hetty says, that's why I'm still teaching hula to seniors. Auntie Hetty is 81 years old. So
wow. It keeps you young. It keeps you young. All the movement, the fluid movement, like no impact, and just beautiful. Makes you happy, right?
Yeah.
Keeps you young.
Let's talk about here as I just kind of wanted to share this here.
Hear our song of peace, woven melodies, we are living colors in harmony.
Daniel, talk about Colors in Harmony with a frequent collaborator.
Well, Colors in Harmony is a music video I did for the Los Angeles County holiday celebration. a show that I've been doing a number of years. It's a Christmas show. It airs on Christmas Eve. We usually do it at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, but in 2020 it was all virtual. And Halau Hula Keli'i o Nalani, Kumukeli is Halal, did all the choreography and sang. And Tia Carrere is featured in there as well in the introduction and ending. And this is a song that I wanted to be about cultural unity through the arts. So I love the song It's a Small World. And I love the melody and the sentiment and how it moves through all these different cultures, and all this counterpoint is going on as you ride the boat. And it just kind of morphs into these different countries and counterpoints and languages and everything. So what I did with Colors in Harmony, I actually asked Richard Sherman if he would write the lyrics for it, but I don't think he was able to do it, but I tried. So this song is about working together. You know, in Los Angeles, we have a lot of different cultures, and we don't always get along, and it just makes things so much harder on ourselves. And we would be so much happier if we could learn to just collaborate and work together and get through the pandemic and these racial issues that we have. So I wrote a verse that goes, "Here we gather from afar, hear our song of peace, woven melodies we are." And the melodies are us as individuals, living colors in harmony. And the colors are all our different races. So Dana Shui, who is playing cello in the toccata, is singing and playing cello, singing in Mandarin. Wow. Which is pretty amazing, like playing cello and singing at the same time. And Tia's in there. Kumu and his halau are singing in Hawaiian and doing all this counterpoint and playing kala'au and pahu drum and all that. And Tia's singing in Filipino and doing the dance, and everything. And there's a music video, Colors in Harmony, and it's just a fun project.
I want to tell our folks, go ahead and go to YouTube, Colors in Harmony, Daniel Hole, and you'll see this beautiful video that's there with all of our friends too. Great song.
Yeah. And I'm teaching how to play this song on ukulele and how to play and sing it, and also to play it instrumentally on a workshop on May 23rd. So come to the workshop, and we'll talk about the music and learn how to play it.
So you can go to oldtownschool.org, and you can get more information about the workshop on Sunday, May 23rd. You'll get time and all the details about it. And it sounds really, really exciting. It sounds good.
It was a fun project. It was a huge production. We have a taiko group, Zendeco, playing drums in there. And
fun. How fun. Okay, so something else is coming up over here. This is in June. Tell us about this at the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music, Daniel.
Was on June 2nd, I have a free online concert for UCLA, a World Music Center. So it's a world music concert, and we'll be performing 3 new songs, 3 newly filmed songs, and doing an interview and also a Q&A. And it's kind of from my world music repertoire. And Dana Shui, the cellist, will be performing with me, and Danny Joy is in there as well. Nice. She'll be singing on one of the songs. Nice. So we put together some really nice videos for it. So that's what I'm working on editing right now, actually.
Oh, great. So go check it out. You can go to schoolofmusic.ucla.edu and to get information about a free concert coming up June 2nd. Get that information. That sounds like it's going to be exciting. It's going to be good fun. It's going to be good fun. My goodness gracious, Daniel. I don't know where the hour has gone. We just sat down.
It's been fun talking with you and sharing. Thank you.
It's been wonderful, Daniel. And our friends, let's see, she's put the information for the concerts on Facebook. Okay, I will do that, Auntie. You know, when Auntie said, I gotta do it because
Yep.
Auntie is known as to throw the slipper. And she's very accurate with her slipper. So I have to, Auntie. I'll put it on there, Auntie Hetty. No worries, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Daniel, it's been such a fun Aloha Friday with you. Thank you so much for taking time, you and Lydia. And we were joking that I said, for actually, I wanted to get in touch with Daniel so I could talk with Lydia. And because I know that Lydia is the one that carries a slipper in your house. So
Yes, she does. She really does, yeah. But she's so supportive, of all these whims and these new directions. Like she'll take whatever I'm trying to do and just make it better. Like make sure I meet a standard. So
well, I'm on your email list for information you put out, and I just want to quote this over here. One of the things he says, I cherish my talented friends who share the stage with me. They're such an integral part of my creative life. You got Randy Drake, Kumu Keali'i, Kanani Toji, wonderful, talented dancer and vocalist. My wife, Lydia, who brings my crazy ideas to fruition and stepped in to save the day on this project as well. So, what can I say?
I feel super, super, super lucky. That's all I can say. I really do. Like even all this video stuff I do now, she's filming everything.
Nice.
She does all the photography, all the film, because I'm on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
So I think in some way it's fun for her too, because she's creative and she's got a good eye and a good ear for music as well. But it lets her kind of, just get that creative side out, get it flowing.
Yes. For our friends, then, you can go to danielho.com, learn more about his music, learn about workshops that he is involved with, concert information as we gradually come out from under COVID, learn about the instruments that he plays. Pepe Romero, I believe Ohana is also there too. And you can... hard time keeping up with Daniel, but this is where you need to go because he's constantly on the move. Mahalo, Daniel. Thank you so much. I love you, man.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching.
It's been a fun ride. I think we should go out with some great music. And I tell you, this is one of my favorites right here. We're just gonna go soak up the sun here, Dan.
Hey.
Love you, brother. Take care.
Thank you.
Hello,
Bye.
everybody. Thanks for joining us.
My friend, the communist, holds meetings in his RV. I can't afford his gas, so I'm stuck here watching TV. I don't have digital, I don't have diddly squat. It's not having what you want, it's wanting what you've got. I'm gonna soak up the sun.